y'all. What's up? Hey. 1 second, my clock said 5:29. The next second, it said 5:31. How does that happen? I ran upstairs to quiet the dog down, and like so much time passed. Okay, and I mean by quiet the dog down because the package got delivered like 5 minutes ago. So of course doorbell rang. He went cuckoo crazy, and then he had to keep barking just because. I guess because I keep the windows up, open upstairs, and he had to let himself known. Hi, Bethany. Thank you. Yeah, it was a lovely day yesterday. Lovely day. I've always enjoyed, well, in the past, every time my birthdays come around, I've always taken the day off. When I worked at Child Care Center, since it typically corresponded with the week of Thanksgiving, I was able to usually take my birthday off and just add it to the days for Thanksgiving. So I would end up with like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and then I could typically add my birthday on that and get an extra day. So I'd get like 5, 6 days off and only have to take 1 vacation day. So yeah. I've never worked, or I tried to never work on my birthday. So anyway, before we get into all the birthday fun and everything, I hope all of you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Mine went pretty good, I guess. We have been in Montana every year for the past, this is our 3rd Thanksgiving here, without any family, so it's a bit different to try and do the whole Thanksgiving thing when you don't have family here. But Philip's staff, who the majority of them are from elsewhere in the country, and they are also not able to go home for Thanksgiving. We did a big potluck thing, and we've done it for the past few years. So I, of course, signed us up to bring far too much to the little potluck thingy, but I have to say my turkey came out perfect. I actually even did gravy from scratch, like took the turkey out of the roasting pan and made gravy with the stuff that was left over. So there's a huge win there. And the only advice I have to say is if you have ever made the Pioneer Woman's mac and cheese, it is beyond awesome. But don't double it unless you got the space to do it. I doubled it because I like mac and cheese a lot, like carbs, yes, cheese, yes, and I doubled it, and I did not have enough space in my kitchen to boil all the noodles, to mix all the noodles with all the contents, make this great big vat of roux, you know, to mix it with the noodles. It was just insane. Anyways, though, it turned out awesome. And then, of course, I saved all of my recipes for that. So it turned out to be a very good Thanksgiving. So, yeah, we finished our leftovers Saturday night, I think, actually. We didn't take a bunch home with us, so pretty good. Black Friday, we did not buy anything except stamps. We went into Best Buy, we went into Target, we went into Toys R Us, and we had no intention of buying anything. It was just one of those, let's just go see the big box stores and see what they've got going on. And yeah, we bought stamps for the post office. And then yesterday, of course, is my birthday, and it's honestly, it is my favorite day of the year. And selfishly, it's because it's all about me, yes. But I love, because everyone does make a point to, you know, come and say happy birthday. They make a point to send you a text or a message. They make a point to, you know, go on your Facebook wall and say something. Send cards, all that kind of stuff. Very rarely do a lot of people take that time. So it's it is my favorite day of the year. Partly because it is all about me, but I get to hear from everybody, even if it's just, them saying happy birthday. I love it. So I appreciate all that. I went and had lunch, or I went and got lunch. My husband, Philip, hates Chinese food. He's allergic to shrimp, so he thinks that by eating Chinese food, he's going to end up throwing up after. I keep telling him that if he just stays away from the fried stuff, he'll be fine, but he don't want to listen. So I went and picked up Chinese food yesterday, and I had Chinese food for lunch. And we ordered pizza for dinner, and because pizza is my favorite. Pizza and sandwiches are my favorite. And then, of course, he got me donuts, because they're my favorite. I prefer donuts over cake and pie. So it was a good day. I didn't do much of anything. Just, lounged around, stayed in my PJs, and Philip watched the Seahawks game. And I ordered a crap ton of stuff from Amazon and Kohl's and Penny's and a couple other places for Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales that were extended. So, yeah, it was a good day yesterday. So, all that being said, let's get into this evening. I'm super excited about this evening. Now, I had a hat that I had made that I actually took a picture with a little while ago that I was going to wear, but for some reason, I am completely burning up right now. I'm sweating, and if you know anything about me, I cannot stand to sweat. I also made, I thought I was having a space on my table, like a cupcake looking thing with a cherry in it. Because I thought that maybe I would have I had planned to kind of situate myself this evening in our spot, and this is just going to take up too much space, so it didn't happen. But we are going to get started because I'm super excited tonight. It is one of my favorite martinis, and I actually have a couple more martinis that I have saved for times like this that are my favorite. And anyways, oatmeal cookie. And y'all, seriously, if you don't drink or you don't like to drink because it tastes like alcohol, this is one of those drinks that does not taste like alcohol. When you mix it up, it's going to taste just like an oatmeal cookie. You don't taste the alcohol in it, which is, of course, dangerous because guess what? There's 4 ingredients and all 4 of them are alcohol. Oops. Anyway, so you need a shaker with ice, of course, martini glass, you need butterscotch schnapps, you need Irish cream, you need cinnamon schnapps. I have Goldschlager. In fact, I've probably had this Goldschlager for far too long. And Jaeger. Jaeger is an optional one. Let me tell you why in a second. First, what you're going to do is you are going to need, let me move my stuff out of the way. You are going to need 2 parts Irish cream. Do any of you guys make these? Do you go back and make these? Because, I mean, I upload the recipes and everything for y'all. I'd like to know if you make them. 2 parts Irish cream. 1 part butterscotch schnapps. And I love, again, butterscotch is like one of my favorite flavors. You need a 1/2 part of cinnamon schnapps. That's probably all that's left in my thing. Yep. You need a 1/2 part of cinnamon schnapps. And then, this is where the Jaeger is optional. Cinnamon, or oatmeal cookies. Some people do them with raisins, some don't. Do you like your oatmeal cookies with raisins? If you do, you add just a dash of Jaeger. Just a dash of Jaeger. If you don't like your oatmeal cookies with raisins, don't add the Jaeger. But you would be surprised. It was just weird because Jaeger is kind of, to me, it's like a licorice flavor. And I don't think that raisins are really licorice, are they? No. Anyway, shake all that up. I actually should have doubled it since this is what I'm going to be drinking while we're doing this here in a minute. So I just may concoct myself up another one here in a bit. Hope y'all don't mind. Tipsy Manda's fun, Manda. Hey, so there is your oatmeal cookie. It is, I mean, you are going to be shocked at, if you make it, you're going to be shocked at how little alcohol you taste and how much it tastes exactly like an oatmeal cookie. And unfortunately, those are the ones that are the most dangerous. So, okay, so who's watching tonight? Say hey, because I'd like to know who was born in 1979. If you were born in 1979, you might be interested in some of this stuff. Even if you weren't, guess what? You might be interested in kind of some of this stuff. I am obsessed with pop culture. I love pop culture. All those shows is like, take me back to the 80s, or thank you, Jill. All those shows like Take Me Back to the 80s, or I Love the 90s, or whatever. Those are my favorite shows. I love to see the events. I love to see the history. I love to see the facts and stuff that happened in the time period that I was alive, especially before I can remember. Just because, I mean, here we are, you know, we're going day to day, and we forget how many things have happened since we have, you know, been alive. I mean, we, in all honesty, you can do a Google search for this. There are so many articles about how 1979 is supposedly the year that moved the world dramatically. And you'll hear in a few minutes some of the things that happened that caused a huge shift in pop culture, a huge shift in our thinking and everything. So this is one of those things that, you know, in my head I'm just like, yeah, okay, I was born this year. Let's just sit back and chat about it or whatever. But when I started doing my research, it's like, holy cow, there is a ton of stuff that happened that actually, you know, caused a huge shift in the things that we know and love today. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. We're just gonna be sitting here chatting. So you stuck with me for a bit. So anyway, yeah. So let's see, Bethany, raisins. You bite into the cookie, think it's chocolate. Oh yeah, I'm with you there. I don't typically like raisins. There are very few things I like raisins in, but I had a friend in college that made oatmeal cookies, and she soaked her raisins in spiced rum for a few weeks. So when you bit into them, guess what? They didn't taste like raisins. So it was perfect. Okay, so I said love pop culture. One of the things I have to say is I have, for the past few years now, this isn't new, every once in a while I find myself waking up and having to recalculate my age. Like, so you sit there and like, okay, I was born in 1979, subtract 2017, and you have to recalculate. I find it so difficult to forget to remember how old I am. Does anyone else do that? I, for the life of me, cannot remember how old I am. Maybe it's because I still feel like I'm early 30s, late 20s or something like that. But I can't for the life of me ever remember how old I am. I do know that I was born in the 1900s. And that makes me sound like ancient. But yeah, born in 1900s. when I was doing the research, found out that I was born on a Monday. Guess what today is? Monday. So, was born on Monday. And I've always known that I shared a birthday with Tina Turner, which, I mean, that's pretty darn awesome. I also share a birthday with Charles Schulz. You know who Charles Schulz is? If you're a fan of Snoopy, you know who he is. He created the whole Peanuts gang. Charles Schulz, Tina Turner, Rita Ora, and DJ Khaled, which are two fairly, I mean, yeah. I just share a birthday with them, whatever. All right, anyways, so before, one of my favorite things to compare is how much the cost of living, prices of things have changed over the years. And I did a tiny bit of research, and these are all just averages. There was a ton of inconsistent information. So if I spout something off wrong here in a minute, blame Google, because there are a billion, I mean, you do a search for the average price of milk in 1979, and you're going to come up with 20 different prices. So, with all that being said, average cost in 1979. These are just averages, like I said, inconsistent information, and I did make some horrible little just things to hold up. That way, so when I was spouting off numbers, blah, 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 if you didn't hear me, you could see them. So, in fact, I was here thinking when I was looking earlier that the numbers may be reversed or whatever when I show them to you. So, I'm still learning about this whole thing. So, we'll see what happens. Okay, so, stamps in 1979 were 15 cents. They're 49 cents now. A dozen eggs, which I very rarely buy a dozen eggs. 82 cents in 79. They're $2.94 on average now. A gallon of milk, which we buy weekly because my husband is English and he drinks a crap load of tea with milk. $1.68 in 79. $3.29 now. And then gas per gallon, $1. 86 cents in 79. $3.56 on average now. I don't even pay attention to the gas costs now. Fact with the gas thing. I learned that in 1979, the United States had specific days to get gas based on your license plate number, depending on if it ended up in an even or an odd number, due to a gasoline shortage. So if you had an even or odd number, you can only get it on specific days because there was a gasoline shortage, which is hard to believe considering where we are now. The only time we a lot of times see those shortages is when there's, you know, a huge break or tornado, you know, natural disaster kind of thing. So that's kind of interesting. So, next one. Like I said, horrible things that I made. Minimum wage, $2.90. Now, $7.25. Average income, which that equates to, average income per year, $17.5, which means the average family's pulling in about $45.2, I guess. Like I said, this is not consistent. I don't know about average family or as opposed to one person. I just said the average income per year was $17.5 and now it's $44.2. So, the average new home, again, new home meaning you bought yourself a new home or you built it from the ground up, I'm not sure. But $58.1 in 79 And now $203,400 for a new home. If you were to build it from ground up, which is just insane to me because it actually seemed kind of low. If you were to build it from the ground up, 203 seems very low. But at the same time, we're in Montana, and Montana prices are cuckoo crazy. And life expectancy, I think I said right there, it's gone, it was 73.3 in 79. It's now 79.13. So, I mean, yeah, that's not as high. It didn't go up as much as I thought it would. But, yeah. Anyway, and then the last couple of things that I'm going to show you here is the average cost of a few items. So imagine if you were buying a new car in 1979, a computer kind of thing. So in 1966 is when the Toyota Corolla was introduced. It became popular, the best-selling vehicle actually in 1974. So in 1979, if you were to go buy a Toyota Corolla, and of course, I don't know if this is the base model, luxury model, whatever. Either way, though, it would have been $3,698. Now, $17,300. Like I said, I don't know if this is base model, luxury model, any of that. But look at that. It's a huge difference. The TRS-80 computer, which I actually had to look up, and when I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, that's what I used in school. It would have cost you $500. And now, when you do a search for computers, the average model is about $700. And they actually said Dell along with that, so I don't know if the average Dell is that or is the computer. Either way, though, I find that interesting. And then Super Bowl. We all know the Super Bowl is known for bringing in like cuckoo crazy amount of money. Super Bowl ad in 79, $220,000 per 30-second commercial. Per 30 seconds. So if your commercial lasted longer, you were paying $220,000 per 30 seconds. Now, $5 million. $5 million per 30 seconds. So heaven forbid you want a commercial that lasts a full minute. That's crazy. Anyway, Super Bowl, $5 million. And of course, that's not even, I mean, it's probably gone up for this next year. So, there you go. So, I'm done with the cheesy cards for a few minutes. I'm going to throw those to the side. I drink a little bit of my stuffs. Talking music next. Tell me a musician you think was like super, super, super popular in 79, or somebody that you would know today that was could have been somebody that was popular in 79. And I told y'all I was going to sit here and mix up stuff, and I gave y'all the ratio a minute ago. Now I'm just mixing stuff. So 1979, like I said, was the you can find articles about how 1979 was supposedly the year that caused a huge shift in the world. It caused a huge shift in the world. So if you were to go back and look at the events that happened in 1979, they're the reason why we are today. And I have run out of cinnamon schnapps. So that is empty. Well, I think that March of 81 is close enough that I feel like 78, 79, 80, 81 are all actually fairly close, where if we were to name an event, you would know exactly what was happening. So yeah, like you said, there's not much difference in the 2 years there. But I kept reading all these articles about how 1979 was supposedly the year that caused like this dramatic shift in the world's thinking and everything. But they didn't give a ton of specifics. But then when I started looking, it made a ton of sense. So popular music in 1979, Rod Stewart, we still know him, Barry Manilow, Billy Joel, the Eagles, Pink Floyd, The Police, Michael Jackson, Kenny Rogers, Prince, Queen, all still just incredibly popular. Blondie's Heart of Glass was #1. Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive. Donna Summer's Hot Stuff. And the top song of the year was the next, My Sharona. So, I mean, come on. That's just like awesome. But this is what I think is like telling in why 1979 was such a huge shift in the world's thinking. And this was the first, 1979 was the year that Michael Jackson released his first album, his breakthrough album. His breakthrough album, Off the Wall, on August 10th. He had been, of course, with Jackson 5 before. Well, guess what? He broke through as a solo artist in 1979. So if you think about him pushing, you know, a new stream of music, that's a pretty big deal. This was also the same year that Pink Floyd released The Wall with the top selling single, Another Brick in the Wall. I mean, come on. And then I found this funny, so I had to include it. The YMCA, you know, YMCA, they actually sued the Village People for libel because of their song with the same name. Yeah, whatevers. Yeah, so anyways, so there's music. Now, there's another thing that started happening in there, 1979, that I'm sure the majority of us, and you have to listen through this because I bet you will be extremely thankful for this. Cable TV started taking off in 1979. ESPN and C-SPAN were launched. Madison Square Garden Network. You know who they are? Well, guess what? They relaunched into the USA Network. They had been a network prior, and there was a huge, you know, company ownership, whatever, everything that changed. And Madison Square Garden Network relaunched and changed into the USA Network. What was fascinating about this is when I was looking it up, Madison Square Garden Network was specifically associated with airing the sports and stuff that happened, you know, in New York, Madison Square Garden, whatever. Well, if you look at USA Network now, it has nothing to do with sports. In fact, I remember in the late 80s, early 90s, I think that's where Perfect Strangers and My Two Dads aired. So, Madison Square Garden Network relaunched into the USA channel. TMC started playing movies 24/7, and there's tons of discrepancies, no consistency or whatever. Supposedly, Nickelodeon was launched in April of 1979. Supposedly. So, cable TV was booming, taking off, setting the stage, where look at us now. How many shows do you watch on regular primetime TV now? The majority of the shows we watch now are on all these other channels. So that's huge. The most popular television shows: MASH, The Price is Right, Waltons, Happy Days, Little House on the Prairie, Saturday Night Live, Charlie's Angels, Family Feud, Love Boat, Three's Company, Dallas, Mork and Mindy, and Taxi. Exactly. You know, when I started looking up, you know, things that happened in 1979, they started talking about USA Network launched, and I look it up and it said Madison Square Garden TV, and I'm like, what? Yeah, cuckoo crazy. So all those shows were most popular. The Young and the Restless was the #1 daytime show. And I asked this a few weeks ago, actually, to my husband when there was like some kind of breaking news, and I'd asked him what kind of calls they get when there's breaking news in the middle of the day, and he said there are people that call that are cuckoo. I mean, they're crazy about it interrupting a specific soap opera. So the fact that The Young and the Restless was the #1 soap in 1979, do people still watch soap operas? Yes, they do. And I know this because my husband gets calls if there's breaking news in the middle of one of them. This, to me, is one of the probably most telling, pivotal things that the majority of you guys will understand. PBS's This Old House was one of the earliest home improvement shows. It was controversial because contractors and the cast were afraid that they were giving away secrets of the business trades. Think about all of the home improvement shows we watch now. I mean, there's the massive amount of tiny homes, flip and flopping, home renovations, all of those shows. 1979, This Old House was on TV, and it was controversial because builders and the cast didn't want to give away building secrets. You know, the behind the scenes, what happens behind the scenes. That's just insane to me. So, I mean, like I said, I love pop culture. This is the kind of thing that I love. So the fact that, you know, we sit here and we just suck ourselves into these shows, and the fact that, you know, 35 to 40 years ago, guess what? These were controversial things. It's not that far in the past. It's just, yeah. So, I mean, and this is I mean, I wish that, you know, I could make this more interactive and everything, you know, put other people on this. But that's just nuts to me that 35 years ago, that was controversial. So, top movies: Superman the movie, Alien, The Muppet Movie, Kramer versus Kramer, Meatballs, Star Trek, Steve Martin in The Jerk. So, I have a couple more little pictures here for you that I so gracefully glued onto paper for y'all. Yeah. But first I have to say, I am not the most fashionable person. I want so bad to be fashionable. I want so bad to be one of those people that can put random outfits and random patterns and stuff together and it look good, but I'm not one of them. But I did go through and pull up some outfits or some stuff that was sold in 1979, and I did find a few things that are actually kind of popular now and were popular then. But first, I've stated this, the reason why I thought to even look this up in the first place was several months ago, I had gone to Kohl's and went shopping, and I am not at all someone that can shop in the junior section. I've got hips, I got curves, the junior section is not for me, but something in my head still says, yeah, sure, you can, you wear it, you try it. So I still went through the clearance stuff and everything, and I found bodysuits, you know, with those awkward snaps in the crotch, stirrup pants with the weird elastic around the feet, and palazzo pants. And that's kind of what sparked this whole, you know, evening. I was like, wasn't that from like the 1980s or something like that? So I looked it up, and not really. The bodysuits, the stirrup pants, palazzo pants weren't not necessarily 1979, 1980. But when I started looking up the fashions of 1979, guess what? There's some stuff now that we're seeing a lot more of. And this is probably really bad. These horrible embellished necks with bows, collars with bows. I don't get them, but I see people wearing them all the time. Collars with bows, 1979 and now. And actually what's interesting is 1979 was like a huge year when women were fully like pushing themselves to get into the workforce. So the whole business suit for women was becoming really, really popular. And the pantsuit nation, hello, Hillary Clinton last, November, people were like really trying to get out there and be a strong woman in the nation. And so women were getting out in the workforce, and they were going out in these business suits trying to match themselves with men. And it was not too soon after this that you see a ton of pants suits for women going out. So it's pretty cool. This is what I've seen a lot this summer, and I don't understand it. But these off the shoulder tops, the great big floofy, bubbly sleeves. I don't get it, but they're popular. People love them. The ruffle bubble sleeves, off the shoulder, embellished collars. I don't get it. In fact, there's weird cold shoulder things. Yeah, I don't get it. Anyway, fashion's there. This to me, this was kind of like the bigger thing. Look at the shoes for women. Boots. Well, there's boots. Knee-high boots. Or boots right underneath the knee. Booties. Hello. We're all over that right now. And what's funny is the price, and most of these are from the Sears catalog in 1979. You can do a search for Sears catalog 1979 and you'll see pictures and stuff. Anyway, booties and boots. They also said they were $39.99. Guess what? Most days you can go to Kohl's or Penny's and get the same thing for $40. And then the men, you got the loafer. You got a trench coat. That's a little too much of a trench coat. But loafers, and then they got like a three-piece suit type thing in. So my biggest thing was, this is like the biggest thing right now. If you are in fall wearing these right now, then evidently you're fashionable. Like I said, I ain't fashionable. And then I have one more here because this seems to be the biggest rage, is everybody wearing matching pajamas. You got your whole family, put them all in matching pajamas. Onesies. Grown-up person in a onesie, guess what? 1979. Onesies. Yep, way back then. Okay. Last couple of things, and then I will call it a night. Why is it already 7 or 6:11? Holy crap. Okay, Black & Decker released the first cordless mini vacuum. The Dust Buster. Yep. Sony introduced the Sony Walkman. Guess how much it cost? Hey, y'all. Okay. Yeah. The Sony Walkman was introduced at $200. Inflation calculator says it was still sold at that point, $650. First strawberry shortcake doll went on sale. The general knowledge quiz game Trivial Pursuit is launched, and Victoria's Secret opened in 1979. It went national in 1982 after being acquired by Limited. And then, last but not least, the very first bungee jumping performed by a group was an Oxford University Dangerous Sports Club jumped from the suspension bridge, joining England and Wales. Yep. Bungee jumping, 1979. Next week, guess what, y'all? Because I think it's going to cut me off here a second anyway. Because, again, I chat too much. Next week, do-it-yourself fireplace. When we first moved to Montana, we didn't want to get out all our Christmas stuff. So, guess what? I built a fireplace. I built a hearth. I built a tree, all that kind of stuff. I'll show you guys how to do that. And we're going to start with the toffee drop martini. So, love y'all. Hope y'all had fun just sitting here watching me talk. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.